He laughed at his teacher. 10 years later, he begged for a job. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hello Daily English. Today, I want to share a story that's not just about English, it's about life. A story about ego, respect, and time. So sit back, because what I'm about to tell you might just remind you of someone you once knew, or even someone you once were. This is the story of a boy who laughed at his teacher, and 10 years later, he begged for a job. He was that kind of student every teacher remembers, not because he was brilliant, but because he was loud, always talking at the back, always making jokes, always trying to prove he was smarter than everyone, even his teacher. His name was Ryan, 17 years old, smart, but careless. And then there was Miss Clara, his English teacher, the kind of teacher who believed in her students even when they didn't believe in themselves. She would often say, "Ryan, you have potential. You could be someone great if you just focus." And he would smirk, lean back in his chair and say, "You're right, miss. Who needs English when we have Google Translate?" The class would laugh, but she didn't. She would just smile softly and say, "One day, you'll understand that language isn't just words, it's respect." But that day wasn't today. One afternoon, something happened that changed everything. Miss Clara was explaining how to introduce yourself in a job interview. Ryan interrupted again. "Miss, do you really think someone like you knows how interviews work? You're just a teacher." The room froze. Even his friends didn't laugh this time. Miss Clara stood there quietly, then said softly, "Ryan, maybe you're right. I'm just a teacher. But one day, when you sit across a desk and realize words matter more than grades, I hope you'll remember this moment." He rolled his eyes, laughed, walked out. That was the last day Ryan ever attended her class. A week later, he dropped out of school. 10 years passed. Ryan was 27 now. Life had not been kind. He had jumped from job to job, waiter, driver, salesman, always searching for something better, but never staying long enough to grow. He was smart, but arrogant, and without a degree or proper English skills, every interview ended the same way. "We'll get back to you." But they never did. He started to realize that maybe, just maybe, his teacher was right. Still, his pride wouldn't let him admit it. Until that day, that one day when karma walked right back into his life. He had applied for a position at a new company. It wasn't fancy, but it was stable. He was nervous. This time, he had practiced, rehearsed his answers, even wore a suit. When he entered the interview room, he froze. Sitting across the table was Miss Clara, older, confident, and now the head of HR. "Good morning," she said, without lifting her eyes from the file. "Please have a seat." He sat down, hands trembling. She looked at his resume, then slowly looked up. Their eyes met. "Ryan, right? I remember you." He tried to smile. His voice cracked. "Miss Clara, I didn't know you worked here." "Life is full of surprises," she said. "So, tell me, why should we hire you?" He tried to explain, fumbling his words. His voice shook. His grammar broke. All those years of avoiding English now stood in front of him like a wall. And when he finished, she just nodded. "Thank you for coming, Ryan. We'll let you know." He walked out, shoulders heavy. He knew he had failed. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her words from 10 years ago. "One day, you'll understand that language isn't just words. It's respect." And that night, he finally did. The next morning, he showed up at her office again. he wasn't there for a job this time. He was there to say sorry. Miss Clara, I was wrong. You were trying to help me. I laughed at you. I disrespected you. But today, I just wanted to say thank you. She smiled softly, tears in her eyes. Ryan, it's never too late to start over. The only failure is not learning. Over the next few months, she helped him, not because she had to, but because that's what good teachers do. She guided him through interviews, taught him English again, built his confidence back, and eventually he got hired. Not in her company, but somewhere even better. He had changed, grown, and every time he wrote an email, gave a presentation, or helped someone struggling to speak, he remembered her. He laughed at his teacher, but life made sure he'd learned the lesson. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Hello Daily English, and share it with someone who needs a little reminder that respect and effort always come back. And remember, it's never too late to learn, to grow, and to become the person your younger self thought was impossible. I'm Jessie from Hello Daily English. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.